The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting you know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, Georgia, another state, seems like it's on the edge of passing the fetal heartbeat law or heartbeat bill. The Republican lawmakers of that state, at the House level and at the Senate level, have already approved of it. Now it goes to Governor Brian Kemp's desk, and he's already showed support for it. Now, the fetal heartbeat law, for those who have been following me, you've heard me mention this a couple of times. 2 states have passed this where it prohibits abortion after you can hear a heartbeat, which can happen as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy. Talking about a time where, sometimes a lot of times, women don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a big deal. A lot of people want to be anti-abortion until they need a motherfucking abortion. I don't know, you got caught out there having one out of wedlock, or you got one that's coming out with a disease, you got too many mouths to feed. Hell, especially for y'all white cracking Republican motherfuckers, you know what I mean? You might have fucked on your cousin or your auntie or something like that. Now you about to have a kid. You definitely don't want to abortion them, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how this pans out. Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting you know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, remember in Vallejo, California, back in February, when a rapper was shot and killed outside of a Taco Bell when he fell asleep in a car, and the cops came and surrounded him. He supposedly had a gun on his lap, and these cops came and basically killed him, right? Now, they said that he made a sudden move, like he was reaching for his gun or whatever, but that body cam footage has been released, and it actually shows Holmes posed no type of threat, none. All he did was actually reach to scratch his shoulder, and he shot the fuck out of Holmes. His name was Willie McCoy. You know what I'm saying? Look Holmes up. It's fucked up. I remember posting this when I did. A lot of people was giving me heat, as if man, what do you expect him to do? He in a car, and he sleep, and he got his gun on him or whatever. But it's dude, why would you? If you know that's the case, why would y'all even approach that way anyway? The cops crept up on a car. What do you expect to happen? Nevertheless, it's being looked at as a wrongful death. So we'll see how this pans out. Green War and graduation. We'll go to Bishop Grady, letting you know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, Saheed Vessel, 34-year-old dude from that was in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, actually was killed last year after cops mistook his welding torch for a gun, and they killed him. You know what I'm saying? And they in doing that, a lot of people were up in arms and wanted to see justice brought to light. But New York actually said that they are not going to seek charges. So, unfortunately, that's the end of that. Dude had bipolar disorder, and he didn't have a gun at the end of the day, but fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? So, prayers up and positive energy towards that family, the anybody that knew that man, and you know what I'm saying? We gotta get it together. New York Attorney General Letitia James, what's good? What's good, Joe? What's good, Letitia? I know you one of us. Come on, now. Let's see what's happening with that, though. Everybody stay safe, man. Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting you know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. New York actually took the step to be the second state, other than California, after California or whatever, to ban single-use plastic bags. They are excluding, though, garbage bags and restaurant takeout bags. So pretty much that leaves on the table shopping bags and shit like that, right? You know what I mean? I guess grocery shopping bags. Not entirely sure which bags they talking about, but at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a step in the right direction to curb pollution and curb littering. So, this is what a lot of y'all motherfuckers get that be, have no problem dirtying up these streets, man. Yeah, we gotta take care of our environment, though. You know what I mean? Our motto, shit. Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on, man. I got some sad news, man. They killed the homie motherfucker Nipsey Hussle. I know everybody already know, but I still gotta report it on GP, man, and it hurts because this is somebody that really represented the people, on a gangster front, on a hip hop front, on an entrepreneurial front. You know what I'm saying? Always promoting consciousness, being self-aware, just knowing ourselves in general, and definitely black entrepreneurship and cooperative economics, man. He took a spot where him and his gang banging people, he was crip all day, but he took a spot where they was banging and hustling that or whatever, and basically turned it into a business, and it was called Marathon Clothing Company. And, he had that little mall on lock or whatever, and they shot and killed him right in front of that. And mind you, this actually happened when he was supposed to. This was a day before he was supposed to meet with LAPD so they could meet on stopping gang violence and all of that. And the fuck shit happened. Mind you, his last album, Victory Lap, was Grammy nominated. He had songs like Fuck Donald Trump and was supposed to release a documentary about Dr. Sebi. So, the timing just seems crazy, man. Green War and graduation, fucked up day in here. We'll do the Bishop Grady laying over what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So Donald Trump and the Trump administration, they actually announced plans to cut all of the aid going towards El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Now these are three countries that are in Central America. Central America being a strip of countries that are between Mexico and South America. Now the problem with this is that they feel immigration is a problem. Immigration very well may be a problem, but a lot of times we exacerbate the situations that are happening in these countries that encourage immigration. And this might very well be an example of one of those things. We're supposed to be giving them aid. The aid and the money that goes towards these countries is supposed to help towards education, address poverty, stop violence. And to cut off this aid means that these things will still happen and people will still have even more reason to try to flee and then try to come into America. So that's kind of productive. People on both sides of the aisle are like, what the fuck is you doing? Green War graduate. We'll do the Bishop Grady lady. I know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Donald Trump has actually threatened Mexico, or thought he was threatening Mexico by saying that he is going to close the ports of entry at the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, he's threatened to do this because he's apparently, based on the words he was using, upset about migrant caravans coming from Central America being allowed to essentially go through Mexico and not be stopped and getting to the U.S.-Mexico border and trying to cross in. And, he wants to do that. He sent it as a threat and saying it publicly. But, Mexican officials was we don't respond to threats. Fuck out of here. Now, this is all happening in light of there being in El Paso, Texas, a bunch of migrant families that are being held in under this bridge, essentially, in this inhumane kind of weather. 40 degree weather. They held outside in cages and shit like that. But nevertheless, the closing of these ports might fuck up commerce. Green War and graduation. Go to Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, on this past Thursday, actually, it was announced that Donald Trump will be extending the deferred enforced departure status, the DED, which is basically a protection status for immigration, for immigrants or whatever. He extended the DED for some 4,000 Liberians that are in the country. Now, this is seen as a positive in the sense that it reverses some things that he had said that they were going to do in the past. This status was actually set to expire right before he announced that it was announced that they would extend it to January of 2020. Other countries that are getting extensions are the Sudan, Haiti, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. Now, this was done. It's surprising because he had already said that Africa's a shithole country, but lawyers representing the Liberian DED holders were filing suit against the government saying that this was racial discrimination. So that's what's going down. Green War grad. We'll do the Bishop Grady laying over what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, a federal judge over in Alaska actually reenacted a ban that took place. Basically, that banned offshore drilling that takes place in offshore of Alaska, obviously, in the Arctic Ocean. This actually blocks a 2017 executive order by Donald Trump, basically opening up tens of millions of acres to oil leasing. Allowing companies to come through and do some oil drilling or whatever. So, it's obviously one of those situations where greed blinds people from the fact that this stuff is hurting the environment and hurting the even the wildlife. Even if we don't want to talk about the world blowing up 40 years from now, whatever, there's wildlife being directly affected. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening. Green War and graduation. We'll do the Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, on Friday, over in Britain, actually, in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Theresa May, her Brexit plan was rejected by Parliament for a third time. Now, this was actually the contingency of or basically the whole Brexit plan. Brexit being where Britain and the United Kingdom actually removes itself from the European Union. Is actually, was hinged on them reaching this deal, and they still haven't reached it yet. Now, the default deadline for them to actually remove themselves is April 12th, but they can't even remove themselves from the union without having reached a deal. So it seems like they're in a lock, and unfortunately they've reached the limits of their power. So it'll be very interesting to see how this pans out. Will they separate themselves from the European Union? It all comes down to the buck. Let's keep it real. Green War and graduation, though. We'll do the Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, I told y'all about how the Great March of Return anniversary was going down. Now, for those who don't know and just following, over in Israel, the conflict between Israel and Palestine, over on the Gaza Strip, that little strip of land that's like, that's seemingly in Israel, as is Israel on a white man's map or whatever. And the Gaza Strip is actually, engulfed 3/4 by Israel, and then on the other side of it is the Mediterranean Sea. Now, Palestinians consider that their ancestral land, so they've been marching there since last year, basically, unarmed in protest because Israel's occupying that land. And we know that there's been a lot of violence, especially with the Israeli forces ganging up on these Palestinians. Man, 4 more people were actually killed in their anniversary protest this past weekend. So it's fucked up, man. This shit getting out of control. The United Nations already citing them as having committing human rights violations. Stay tuned. Green War and graduate. The New World Order, Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, I told y'all about the cyclone Idai. 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 However the fuck you pronounce that shit. It was a big ass cyclone that hit parts of Africa. I believe you would consider this to be southeastern Africa. You got Mozambique, you got Zimbabwe, and you have Malawi, actually. And this cyclone actually killed a lot of people. They're expecting the death toll to reach over 1,000, but so far you're talking about 500 in Zimbabwe, 500 in Mozambique, 250 in Zimbabwe, and then 50 in Malawi. Now, over in Mozambique, though, in one of their major cities, Beira, B-E-I-R-A, which holds a lot of people, whatever, they've already been reported over 500 cases of cholera, a very crippling disease. And that tends to come from after places are devastated by a natural disaster. And they're preparing vaccine shots. Almost up to 1 million vaccine shots are being prepared. So pray for them people over there. Green War and graduate. The New World Order, Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, Lucy Flores, former assemblywoman in Nevada, was actually running for lieutenant governor back in 2014, said that before she gave a campaign speech, Joe Biden, former vice president to Barack Obama, potential presidential 2020 hopeful, actually, was grabbed her shoulders, smelled her hair from behind, and then kissed her slowly on the back of her head. Now, that's some motherfucking creepy shit right there. Now, she said that she, and she put this in actually published this past Friday. Now, he said in response to this, he's shown affection to a lot of women, people in politics or whatever, but never did he think it was inappropriate. And she's like, she doesn't question his intentions as much as he needs to know that shit is not okay. Now, the timing of this all seems odd, as a lot of times it does when somebody's coming to power and then all of a sudden a rape allegation comes out, but that don't necessarily mean it's not true, but I don't mean it's true either. I just know he was putting Stacey Abrams, homegirl from Spelman College, from Georgia, ran for governor or whatever, wrongfully outvoted on the ticket as his vice president. I'm with that shit though, but we'll see. Green War and graduate.